Cassie here. Welcome back to my channel. Interruption. Must interrupt this regularly scheduled programming to announce the winner of the giveaway. One lucky individual will be winning a signed copy of my novel Keep No Record, and that person is Destiny Bridwell, which I have to say is actually very appropriate because Destiny Bridwell was my actual 100th subscriber. So she's the reason the giveaway was closed and a winner was chosen. So congratulations to Destiny. Please reach out to me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or wherever you feel most comfortable, and I will need your shipping address for the book and any instructions you have on the inscription. If it's gonna be for you, I can write it out to Destiny, or if it's a gift for someone else, or if you just want me to sign it and not personalize it, let me know. Another thing I wanted to say really quick, since NaNoWriMo is coming up super soon, is that y'all should go check out Natalia Lee's video about why she loves NaNoWriMo so much. I will link it in the description box below, but it was such a good video. When I saw the video, I had already decided at that point that I was going to do NaNoWriMo, but it still just gave me so much more to look forward to, and made me think of other ways that I hadn't thought of before about how NaNoWriMo is going to be. My gosh, I'm sorry, I just woke up and my brain is not working yet. The video basically talks about why NaNoWriMo is good and what you can expect to learn from the experience, how you can expect to grow, and it just gave me a lot more ideas about what to expect and things that I hadn't really thought of before, benefits of NaNoWriMo that I hadn't really thought of. So if you're still sort of on the fence, you have a few more days to decide if you're gonna do NaNoWriMo this year, and if you're still kind of on the fence, I would recommend going to watch her video because it might push you over that edge. So again, I will link that in the description. And that is enough interruptions from morning brain rambly me. Back to you, past Cassie. Today, in honor of Preptober, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I outline my novels. So this video very much goes hand in hand with my Being a Puzzler video, which I will link down below. In that video, I describe how I am somewhere between a plotter and a pantser, so I don't usually outline my novels right away, but I do outline them at some point. And if you want to know more about what I mean by that, you can watch that video, but in this one, I'm just going to talk about how I outline them once I get to the point where I am wanting to outline. So for my outlining process, you will need sticky notes, a pen, and a whiteboard. And one of these bad guys. Actually, technically, it doesn't have to be a whiteboard. It could just be any flat surface. You could use a poster board. I just happen to use whiteboards or chalkboards or whatever I have lying around. I'm gonna pick everything up. What's my thinking? So basically how I start my process is I take out my sticky notes and my pen, which is somewhere on the floor, and I write down all of the little bits and pieces and scenes that I've already written. Because again, I'm not a strict plotter, so at this point I have already pantsed some things. So I write down all those little scenes and also all of the scenes and important points of the story, plot points that I've thought of but I haven't necessarily written yet. And then I take all of those sticky notes and I put them on my whiteboard or whatever kind of flat surface you want to use. So I stick them all on there and I put them in chronological order of when I think these events should happen. And then it just gives me a clearer picture of, I'm looking at this board like it has anything useful on it. Basically, it gives me a clearer visual picture of, what plot points I already have and what order they should go in, which usually is something, I already kind of know in my head, but to see it visually, it helps you to see maybe how much space you want to have happen in between those things. Like if this is the first plot point I have, and then the very next thing that's right here is something that can't happen till the middle of the novel, then I know I can even pick this up and put it over here, so I know there's like a huge gap there. It just helps me to be able to see where my story is still lacking plots, subplots, what parts I've already figured out and what parts I haven't. It helps you to be able to see the whole thing visually from beginning to end. And the reason I use sticky notes is because sometimes a scene that I've written might be like a brief conversation between two people or a piece of dialogue or some small moment that doesn't really have a designated chronological spot in the story. Like it could be up here or it could be all the way down here. It doesn't really matter. I just liked that scene and I want it to happen at some point. So if I have it on a sticky note, then I can rearrange these things, order them. I can take pieces out if I decide I don't want that scene anymore and stick something else in. It's just a little bit easier to me than using like a notebook and writing things out, because then you can't really go back and fill things in or move things. It's just all written right there. Of course, you could do that on a computer. You can erase things and move things around. But for some people, outlining is just something that you want to see more visually than on a computer and more tangibly. And that is definitely helpful for me to have an outline that isn't electronic. So this is an outline that I'm currently working on for my NaNoWriMo project. It's a little bit chaotic looking because in the background, this isn't a whiteboard, it's just a poster frame that I have all these movie tickets from movies my husband and I have seen together. So it looks kind of crazy. But basically these are all the plot points I have so far for that story. So each one of these green notes are just basically scenes in the story or conversations I want to have happen or something tangible. But in addition to that, this time I also was struggling a little bit with sort of the arc of the main relationship and how that was going to work, and at which point is the guy starting to fall for the girl, and at what point is the girl starting to fall for the guy, and then when do they, when is the reader supposed to realize that they like each other, and then versus when are they supposed to realize that they like each other. So I went through all of my plot points, and underneath them I put a little pink note, pink for love, that says basically what the characters are supposed to be feeling in that moment. Like for this event right here that happens, which I'm not going to tell you, underneath it says Ari starts to see Charlotte as more special than just a random acquaintance. So that kind of tells me like, okay, he's not falling in love with her yet, but this is when he kind of starts to realize like, oh, I like this girl, she's cool, like I want to spend more time with her. And then at this next event, which of course isn't gonna be literally like back-to-back things happening. I haven't gotten very far in the outlining process. I'm sure I'm gonna move that over and put other things in between. But at this point, this is when, if I can flip up the stupid thing, this says Charlotte is wrestling with her attraction to her boyfriend's best friend. So that's what's happening in Charlottesville at this point. That's where she is at this point in her emotional journey as it relates to Ari. And then, at this point it says Ari is very attracted to Char, but has been trying to hide it from himself, and Char feels extra conflicted now and still doesn't know or doesn't want to admit her feelings. So anyway, I'm not gonna go through and read all of them, but that's basically just the beginning stages of my outline for this story. These are just all the things that I've either already written or have already come to mind, these scenes, and the bonus little pink notes to tell me where the characters are at emotionally. And I could add in other colors for other characters. If I wanted to say what Bryce is feeling like at this point, I could add in a little yellow sticky note to tell me how he's feeling. So yeah. So that's kind of my quick tip, is to use sticky notes and write down what you have so far so that you can see it all in front of you and you can rearrange the things and order them and, see how much space, where you need to fill in the gaps pretty much. And And that's kind of how I start to outline my books. And that's just a really helpful process to me, to be able to look and see like, okay, I have this thing happening, and then the next thing I have is this, which isn't gonna happen until several chapters later. So what do I need to put in between there? And then sometimes I have like one event and then another event, and it's like, oh, well, that works. Like those could be back-to-back chapters, so that's good. I don't need to fill anything in there. And then, you know, I just keep going down the line and seeing where the breaks are, where the empty gaps are, and start filling them with more subplots and other things going on until I feel satisfied with what I have. So I hope this video was helpful. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. So I hope this video was helpful for you and gave you some tips and thoughts about how you might want to go about outlining your projects. If you like this tip, hit the thumbs up button, and if you want to see more tips like this from me every Tuesday, along with other writing related videos on Thursdays, and some random booktube stuff whenever I feel like it, subscribe below. Not like boo, just it's down there. My debut novel, Keep No Record, is available for purchase on Amazon, so check that out before the sequel arrives. And that's it! I'll see y'all next time, and have a great day. Bye!